to the Friday Bundesliga 1 preview, and I might do Bundesliga 2 as well. And you may know already how long it is. I'm trying to keep it short. But what is short? Okay, I'm just rounding it up once again. Okay, fun, Bundesliga. What I got here and what I'm doing and what kind of games we got. Here's my own database, and I'm compiling these prices, computer driven, ever since, well, for a very, very long time already. And why is it showing me all this stuff here? I don't know. I tried to... I don't know what's going on here, to be honest. Okay, so I got two different systems to compile the prices. This is the very old system running since 1990 when I got this software ready. And this old system is just taking in the results. And I got the home advantage and the strength of the teams. Here you can see how I rate them. You can see the ranking, goal average that's set to, and also home advantage, and so on. And you see here, Union are the worst, but not much of a difference. But of course, yeah, I'm ready to adjust this, or whenever I see something happening, or the results would do that. Anyway. Some adjustments, but we got Bayern, Dortmund. Bayern still clearly on top. This is clearly, it's not, yeah, it is a bit, they are better. That's my settings. And between Leipzig third and Leverkusen fourth, there's already quite a big gap. But all this these settings result into these prices, where home advantage, goal average, and strength of the teams, and the draw factor one needs. That's somehow driving the probability of the draws, which naturally would come out a bit low. And as you see, those prices are more or less going well with market. I mean, I may check this here or show you here. That is, yeah, well, as soon as I do this, we got plenty of pages here we do not really need, but I may have okay. Still, let's check this one here, and that's Bundesliga 2. We got Bundesliga 1. No, we only needed up to Hertha Wolfsburg. And if you compare these prices, more or less, yeah, reflecting market's view, those is a special bookmaker. I do have some odds comparisons here, but it's good enough here. And Köln, okay, Dortmund 150, 160, so I'm a bit inclined to take Köln maybe. Got Düsseldorf, there I would say, okay, the same thing, home side and against the heavy favorite in some sense, but in Mainz, Gladbach, I would actually tend to rather take Gladbach. So it's not a general rule to go against the favorites. It's just that I think they are a bit overrated. It's not Dortmund are really overrated, but Köln, promoted side, pretty okay. Played a good game. They still lost it in Wolfsburg and so on. So I just think 150 is a bit too low. Well, that's what computer says, and this comes out of these settings here. Düsseldorf market rated lower, which I've done as well compared to last season. First game was okay, while Leverkusen had been a bit struggling to win even against Paderborn with a 3-2 in the end, but could have been a draw as well. So Düsseldorf picked up their good shape, while Leverkusen, I mean, they finished off quite well, but they started off terribly. But anyway, it's it's marginal, but maybe Leverkusen. Mainz-Gladbach, I tend to go with Gladbach. Paderborn, Augsburg, we look at it first. This is exactly market's price. I mean, what could I do here? Or market, this is one. Bookmaker better go. Or whatever they would pronounce it, whichever way they would pronounce it. In Paderborn, I would be slightly inclined to even take Paderborn. I'm not really saying, but they just impressed me. Freiburg were a bit lucky, but 3-0 win, of course, is also a moral boost and so on. But Paderborn could well be a bit better, and especially if they are not afraid of anything. I mean, they came into Bundesliga 2 last season, and they instantly went to the top and won promotion and so on. And here they look the same in the game in Leverkusen. So they are doing the same thing. Hoffenheim against Werder, I would actually take Werder here. So this is really going to be a bet. In Schalke, Bayern, it would somehow, like the other two favorites, a bit overrated, and computer would somehow suggest Schalke, but I would happily let that one go, because it's Bayern did not win while they played okay. Schalke were a bit lucky, but Bayern know what to do. And those lines, 1.25 goals, that's the Asian line, that's just 1x2 prices here. Would suggest Schalke plus 1.25 goals, and this is just lines you can hardly beat. They lose by 1 and they open up and they concede a second. So you needed to draw to win that one. It's hard to get anyway. And they are not going along with your money, the side. They do not want to lose by 1 goal. They do not mind by how many goals they lose, if they lose. Anyway, Leipzig, very small, well, in favor of Leipzig, no bet at all. In Hertha Wolfsburg, well, this Hertha price is a bit juicy, because they won their point in Munich, and they played okay and so on, and while Wolfsburg were a bit lucky, but of course it's just marginal. If you see here the true price, fair home win, it's 244. If you get 250, I mean, there's not any kind of margin in that one. All I wanted to say is here, those are actually largely computer prices. I may adjust one here or there, or I may have done so, but that's usually, and that's out of these settings here that I have here, so that's automatic computer price compilation, which is pretty unique, I still think. I mean, I know people are doing that, but I've done that since 1990, as I mentioned already. What I got on top of that is, I mean, in Bundesliga 1, that's not so exciting, but I do have this new system which compiles me these prices. Here we see plenty of those tables once again, and I didn't clean up my screen. Okay, sorry for that, but maybe you notice like that there's quite a bit of data you have to look at and compare every week, and to maintain, and to I have to do quite some work. So maybe I actually wanted to prepare this a bit better, and all those Excel sheets here, and here we can compare old and new. And this new system is just working on other parameters. So all those parameters, it's not really taking in the goals. It's rather taking the game stats, the statistics. Of course, I have to reset that every season before the season, and I have somewhat similar settings, but still, it's not really. Well, it's not the same algorithm. It's just a different basis. So and if you see here 1.02, 2.12, so the new system would be a bit more skeptical about Köln, if you want so. And I'm never adjusting these prices. If I do adjust something, it's up here. But I haven't adjusted this, I don't think. But in Düsseldorf Leverkusen, 130, 178. That is similar, but new system finds some more goals. While the old one, yeah. So if you would consider an over, maybe old system would agree, but new system would not. I mean, we could still translate this into market is pretty. Yeah, we can check that here as well. That's 3.5 goal line. And I got all those figures here if you are interested, which maybe you are. But I'm disappearing then. Or am I? But what do you care about my silly face here? It's 3.5 in Köln-Dortmund, right? This is Köln-Dortmund. And 3.5, I worked out the true price in the old system. That's 252, 165. That one would advise an under. But the new system, first of all, I have to check the total goals here. I'll check that at 3.14. So that's very similar. So in fact, in Köln, Dortmund, the computer would advise an under. Yeah, I remember that. I may have written it down, but I'm really do not care so much for over under. At the moment, I do care for over, but not if there is an under indicated. You see here we got 9 goals in these 2 games, 6 and 3. That's 9. So 4.5 per game if you want. So 3.5. I mean, market may exaggerate a bit, but I wouldn't. I mean, at the moment they are playing pretty. Yeah. They never look back. They just go forward, and Köln wouldn't. Yeah. I mean, they would just try to win, and it wouldn't be such a surprise if they lose. But they haven't got a lot to lose. That's what I would say. They just won promotion. Okay, they lost the first game. They were okay, but they wouldn't try to win a point now against Dortmund and play defensively in front of their own supporters at home and so on. So the under would be indicated, but I wouldn't really advise that one, right? And maybe slightly, tiny little bit, Köln would be indicated. Actually, that would be indicated, I think. That's 185. I can show you this as well. So we could take these down. I'm not doing it the same style I've done it last week. Maybe a bit disappointed. But 1.25. That's plus 1.25 Köln Dortmund. That's 170 and we get 185. So I could do the same thing that I've done last week. Those are more or less the bets that are coming out, whereby I wouldn't really be too keen on these under. I mean, if I've written them down here, maybe I could evaluate them next week or on Monday. But this is more or less just the proposals, right? This is more or less the indications, you can call it, right? So it's not necessarily the good bets. It's just what's indicated. So you can still choose, but I would happily go for it like that, as it's written down here. what I wanted to do is actually a bit more. I mean, we got. I can copy this over here. Doesn't make much sense for Bundesliga 1, so I could explain this on the example of the German Bundesliga 2, what I'm really doing here. Or, I mean, as soon as there are 3 games played, I mean, I can shrink myself maybe. And I didn't choose such a perfect screen size here, but maybe that's good enough. That one would do. Anyway, we stick to the Bundesliga 1 first of all. You see there are plenty of data, plenty of things I have to watch out for. This Köln is indicated, but the new system actually, that's a mistake. The new system sees their chances a bit worse than that. As we can witness once again, if we compare those goal expectations, 1.02, 2.12 with these, because here the chances are rated a bit better for Köln. They score a bit more and they concede a bit less. So we can easily and happily skip this one. So it's not, this new system is a bit higher. Okay. I mean, the bets are not that exciting. If I like 2 bets, it's Gladbach, maybe to some extent, and it's Werder. It's just, actually, it's just one real bet here I would propose. Or it's 2, because the Augsburg over, that's a good one, right? Because this one, I mean, I don't know what they base this on for the promoted sites. I mean, sometimes I'm checking that here as well. Right, and I got my pocket calculator next to me, but also I simply look at this and I see that's 87 goals in 34 games. We could easily do that here. That's, sorry, 84 divided by 34, 87. I don't know if this is the basis. That would be 2.55 goals. And those 2.55 goals would be over 2.5, 1.93 you see up here. So I needed, so if 2.55 goals, we would have an overprice of 2.13. So they would in some sense base this on how Union played in Bundesliga 2 last season, because they don't have other information. But I saw them play against Leipzig, which was pretty okay, but it wasn't over anyway, because there were 4 goals. They conceded, you can say, defensively, maybe, well, this is a new league, so maybe it's not that easy. But also, they just play a different style. I mean, you can't play the same style as in Bundesliga 2. I mean, more or less you can say you're forced to attack, or you can also say, well, now we are underdogs in every other game, or in every game, more or less. And what would we do then? I mean, it's just a different game approach. I mean, you can say as an underdog, you try to defend, okay, hold your lines together. I don't know, but it's just a different game approach, so you can't take this. They enter this league and they more or less instantly would adapt to this goal average. Adopted or adapted. And why would they have this Bundesliga 2 goal average? I mean, there's no reason at all. So we got one very good bet here. All the others are unders, which I do not like. I let them here and I evaluate them, so you can laugh at me again on Monday. And here I would say it's just Gladbach and Werder. Gladbach had been playing okay against Schalke. They didn't win, so maybe some better chance than to succeed next time. Mainz lost 0-3 in Freiburg, although they were not clearly the worst side, but still it's a bad result. And I mean, why should I say now Mainz started better or are good? I mean, I just rated Gladbach okay, and they showed me I was right about that because they played well against Schalke. In Mainz, I wasn't wrong. It was just okay. They just played their standard that I expected. So why would I be wrong? So those are my settings, and you saw those settings here because Gladbach are just the better side. I get this here now, and we could go back to this and check this. Those settings once again, right? I mean, here you would see as well 1.18. This is not far away from where they had been last year. I can show this as well. But 1.18 is just, yeah, it's better than average. And Mainz are down here, but in the range of, I mean, they lost 0-3, so that's why they went down, because I got nothing in here but the goals. Otherwise, they would have been on the same level here as Freiburg and so on. Düsseldorf won, so they had been behind. But as I'm taking in nothing but the results, but we can check Gladbach here as well, or we can check them both actually, just to see how far away I can be from that, right? First of all, we can check the goal difference. That's 55-42, and if you divide these two, where have I done this here? Here. 55 divided by 42, because that's more or less the quotient here. That's between the goals they expect them to score and expect them to concede, and this is more or less based on that. But they even had been better last season, so that's close to 131, and I set them to 118. If you look at Mainz, that's 46 divided by 57. That may be a bit better, that's 0.81, but now they lost 0-3, so they went down a bit, but maybe not by that margin. But it just, I mean, that's close enough. I mean, there's not a huge gap. Or if you would take them both, then it would even be slightly in favor of Gladbach, a bit more. And now we could also look at the away wins, which I do not know at all how many they had, but that's 7 out of 17. Which is, yeah, you can also do this in a price, right? What do I have to calculate? Not this, right? Is it, no. That is the price. 2.42 is their away win, but they play a lower rated side that lost more or less the opponent's win price was 155, right? Or if you take them both together, their home losses, that's 11, plus their away losses, their away wins, sorry, which had been 7. Oh, sorry, I was wrong here. Mainz at home was 854. That would be silly, right, to take their away record. So they just lost 4. Okay. So we can forget about this calculation, because that would be a price of 4.25. Mainz had been pretty good at home. This I have to accept. On the other hand, it's still the better side. That 746 away record. They would have won against the average side, and Mainz are not average. Mainz did have a good home record. Yeah, very decent home record, which is fine. But anyway, I mean, all those, this is just a naive fallacy. I call that the Milchmädchenrechnung in German, which sometimes gives you decent answers and sometimes also explains market a bit or so, but usually I just have my settings and the prices come out, so I do not need to worry about that. But usually when you check it, it's going okay. Anyway, the Gladbach may be okay, but not too much to worry about. But at the Werder game here, I would say that's ideal, this kind of constellation. Because first of all, we have Hoffenheim really weakened, and they did play worse. They lost 1-0 in Frankfurt. You can say, well, maybe hard done by conceding a goal in the first minute, and from then on uphill battle somehow. But they just didn't play the Hoffenheim way they had been playing last season. And they lost Nagelsmann as a coach, which is simply a very good coach. Otherwise, he wouldn't win one more league by going to Leipzig. And well, everyone knows he's an excellent coach, right? He's on the toes of well, Tuchel and Klopp, very obviously, and maybe one day even Guardiola, something like that. And and but Tuchel, I mean, Paris and Liverpool, what can you say? Champions League winner and so on. So that's the highest level. But maybe someone would still say Guardiola. I don't know. So it's the highest level of coaches. Anyway, so Nagelsmann, they have to find themselves, settle themselves, and also they lost like 3 very good players. And even if they buy some new players in, it's not going to be replacement one by one. I mean, it's not the same. So that's ideal. I mean, this, and Werder did play well, but lost. So I was rating Werder high. I mean, high, maybe a bit higher than market. That's all. But and they showed they can do that. They played this kind of game, and now it's 190 plus 0.5. So you pay 2.1 on Hoffenheim, which is ridiculous, or 211. But this is a ridiculous price. I mean, I shouldn't say those things. That's a very good bet because I know how close it is in every bet to lose it still, and we can still check afterwards if it was a good bet when you see the game stats. But anything can happen, right? But I would consider this a good one. This is a decent one. The other two are just taken down. The unders you can forget here. I will still rate them on Monday, while the over is a very good one to me. I mean, Augsburg, we had 6 goals. We had 4 goals in Union. So that's proof if this is any kind of, yeah, but it's not proving anything, but figures agree. Market, I don't know where it derives or takes the prices from, or last season, I don't know. I wouldn't do it that way. I'm doing it my way, but I have to prove I'm right. But that's a good one. And Leipzig-Frankfurt, that's an under, where I would say, well, why not? I mean, it's not a great one, or could ever be an under a great one at that stage of the season. But I mean, Leipzig, we had at home very, very well defending. And you can say, well, why would they change so much? I mean, okay, I said that, new coach, and maybe different approach. They've done that same kind of game they played in Berlin already at Union. They won 4-0. But if you see that home record, 9 goals conceded in 17 games. It's just half a goal per game, or yeah, 0.55 something. But and Frankfurt started with a 1-0. You can still argue, right? Why would they? 28-27. That's just average. 55. It's more than 3, but league average had been. But anyway, that sounds like maybe a decent bet. But okay, I do not like the unders. I just like the one over. There are not any more indications. Can't do much about it. Now what I said was Bundesliga 2. I showed you it's sometimes it's getting a bit too much, or many things you have to compare, but still it may show it's tough business and a lot of work, but it also, you rather double check, and you have different there's these 2 methods to calculate it and have the review, or also the tables from last season and all kinds of settings and so on. But what I've done here is, I mean, there is an internet page now, and they refer to this on Sky Germany here, with the X goals, where they say expected goals. Well, it's not expected goals. What they talk about, what they mean is the goals they should have had, because what I expect I can only calculate before the game's kickoff, not afterwards, that I say, oh, I would have expected. You can say, with these amounts of chances, you could have expected them to score these many. Why wouldn't I say they should have scored these many goals? Here you see that. But I've done that calculation. I've turned this into points, and this is what X goals also does. So I provided this extra link to that, but my table is just better. I mean, I can actually show you here that kind of X goals tables. understat.com. You have to check that site. Here it's Bundesliga 1. Can we go to Bundesliga? What can I... Do they have Bundesliga 2? I'm not sure. No, if they have just Bundesliga 1, we have to check that later. But anyway, that's doing that same thing. It's... where's this table? Expected goals and the expected points, right? Which is not expected, but it's deriven. I don't know if that is a word. But after the game, they calculate that. So, I would do it before the game. And during the game, I would say they can show me how well I assess that. But they are not even doing a calculation before the game starts. So mine is just better. It's just better. Because I can also, the goals for expected and the goals for they should have had. What they would call the goals expected would just be the goals they should have had, right? So HSV played just better than expected, and they should have scored more goals than I expected, so my settings may not have been perfect, or they just performed well, my expectancies were right, but I don't know. HSV just played well, they won 6-1, although this is still better than expected. What I introduced here is an indicator now that tells me if I would like the team or go against them. This is by nature, it would be that the top sides, they are rather the ones you have to go against, if anything. I mean, it's hard to say there's a team on the top and against market, you are obliged to bet them, because market, they all see they are on top, so why should they now give you a decent price? The price is low, so you can either go against them or let it be. But HSV, if minus 0.61, this indicator, this is like 0. So I'm happy with HSV. Nothing, do not touch them. I'm not gonna play them. That's impossible. You can't play a top side. You can't do it. You don't get the price. And also HSV has a big name, right? If it were an outsider, maybe okay, but it just doesn't work out. Stuttgart is a bit similar. They played better than expected, which I simply have to admit. I mean, I thought they are struggling. They showed it from game 1, and although they didn't win in Heidenheim, they should have won, and so on. They just played better than I expected. Also with the goals, the against goals, actually, the defensive was not on the standard I expected, because they should have conceded even more than that, which was the case too, because they conceded 4, like exactly the amount they should have conceded, but which is more than I expected. Anyway, the minus 2.04 is still saying, okay, all kind of respect to them, do not touch them, do not go against them, do not go with them, you can't. If we start with Osnabrück, then we could also already argue, well, you could go against them, because they just had too many points. I mean, they played their standard, which is pretty okay. They won 6 points, 2 games, 4-0 against Darmstadt, and so on, which is also reflected here, that they just didn't play better than expected. They just played their standard, but they won more points and scored more goals, conceded less. But still, it's as they are promoted, market says they are low. You still have no reason to go against them. If you would like to consider, you could start with Karlsruhe, which is still a bad example, because Karlsruhe just are promoted too, and usually the market underrates them, and they still won 2 games, but they overperformed on these, so they shouldn't have won them. They won in Wien, which was a bit lucky, and so on. They beat the Kiel, which was an even game, and 4-2. And so they were just a bit lucky. Still, it doesn't work out completely, because it's a promoted side that are just on top, which was close to what I expected actually, but I expected them to play a bit better. Doesn't work out. But if you want to consider it's against Aue, I don't know if this is in the mix here. I can check that anywhere. No, it's against Stuttgart, so that's the worst possible matchup. You can't do anything, right? We wouldn't. No way to take Stuttgart, but not on our. No way. I mean, that just doesn't work out. But usually that would be with Fürth. We are just happy 1.45. This is still neutral. Minus 1.45. If anything, against no. But if it's a perfect matchup, we could also say we're neutral, or we go with them, which I do here, because I mean I would say they are just. I rated them okay. I mean this minus 1.45. That is just because they are a bit too high in table. That's why it's minus. But if they play against Hanover, that's a plus. Okay, they played better than they are here in the table. But usually market would say here they are one of the top sides. They came down from Bundesliga 1. And so they are a bit misleading still. You still have to look at the name, right? If there's a plus. Anyway, it's just a mad line. It's 0.75 goals, which would say an average line would be 0.25 goals. You can check that as well. I want to get through now and just show you a few, or just go through these bets or explain this quickly. You can pause the video and look there. But what did I say now? That's statistics. I mean, if you take that average home advantage, that's 499, 405. That's plus 94. I mean, we can do that in that same Excel file that I used. Which one was it? I would say, did I enter it here? No, I didn't. Where did I enter this stuff here? It was just one random file, right? Which one was it? I can't remember. Just typed in some random figures. Right? I can do that anywhere, but just thought there was something already. Okay. So that's, what did I say? That's 94 goals, 94 divided by 306. That's how much the home sides won by. So the average, it's 0.3 goals. Or, yeah, 0.3. 0.31. And it means you should actually have, that would be half a goal between them in strength, because why would it be 0.75? That's 0.4, 0.4, yeah, let's say 0.4. But why should Hanover be 0.4 goals better, which is quite significant? I mean, they may, yeah, but in the long run, I don't know, but 0.4 goals, that's simply too much. So I'm just saying, telling you sometimes these, well, just simply there are different approaches, the ways to calculate that and to compare that and to check your stuff and so on. So I'm just, I showed you this. The side most to support would be Wien. It's usually, well, close to the bottom or the bottom side, right? And they played two very good games. They lost the third one against Hanover when they really deserved to lose it. So maybe, right, market in the end is still right with Hanover. They were unlucky against Regensburg. Now they won pretty comfortably in Wien. So maybe they are on their way. But I would still say Wien showed that potential in the other games, and maybe one size too big for them, Hanover. I don't know, but that would be the number one pick. But still, it's not a perfect one. First of all, because they play side we also would. Sorry if I forgot Bochum, because Bochum are also in green. And Bochum also, yeah, they just won 1 point. They played even better than expected with 3.55. It's better than the 3.33 I thought. So they did play better than expected. So it's not a perfect matchup at all, especially with Wien going down 0-3 against Hanover. So not perfect this one as well, because Hanover had been on the rise. They showed there may be a top side, okay. Karlsruhe also not great, because it's minus 6.16. If I have to do that, it's against HSV, so that I said neutral, very neutral. Here it would still prevail the preseason settings when I would say HSV. I mean, struggling last season and now continuing that run. They didn't prove that. While Karlsruhe had been a bit lucky, but I would say 3 games is not quite enough to measure it. But if I could still say, well, I think Karlsruhe are there, they belong there, they should be there, they are there in the table. If they were a bit lucky, okay, why not? Can happen. And but still, as the new system already says, a bit higher, which is a result of good or bad performances by Karlsruhe and good performances by HSV. So it would even disqualify. So actually, this is a bad one. So forget about it. I mean, I leave it here and take it in and so on. But you can still say, well, remember on Monday or Tuesday when I tell you you shouldn't have gone for that one. If it's a winner, I will gladly overlook that. Anyway, Osnabrück also not perfect. Depends on who they play. Which is Nürnberg, which is then again very decent because Nürnberg are the one to chase. I mean, you got rarely minus signs down here. If you got a minus sign, it means just awful, because be down on the table and have a minus means, well, that was really, really awful. And as you see here, they played like 1 whole point worse than expected, or even more than that. And in respect to the goals, it's even worse, like 2 goals and more worse than expected, or yeah, about 2 goals. So that was really awful. And so we got against Nürnberg, we definitely won. We actually do not want Osnabrück, but they started well. I said they are good. I mean, that's promotion side winners, euphoria. Somehow, and you see once again 3rd and 4th. So what can you say about promoted sides, right? Wien are the 3rd, but they did play well. They actually played better than these 2, right? 5.2 points, and they should have had 4.12 and 3.16. Here it depends a bit who do you play and how often did you play at home. And Wien played 2 home games, which is against Osnabrück as well. Also Karlsruhe? Yeah, maybe. Anyway, it still depends a bit who do you play. And so all of them are not perfect, or yeah, they are not perfect. Osnabrück are okay maybe, but this minus was just awful. Nürnberg, and they still have this bonus that I give them that Market doesn't. But if they're on 3rd place, Market is about to, right? Because people say Osnabrück 3rd place, well, the others 15th. Okay, I'm gonna take Osnabrück. Very simply said, but so the chance is gone to go with it. Here it should be 1.89. Heidenheim also not perfect at all. We look at who they play. That's Sandhausen. Sandhausen hasn't done anything wrong. That's a plus here, and that's a minus there. That minus is not serious. That one's not serious. So you can still say it's okay, but it's all but perfect. What do you say? It's not perfect. I mean, I don't know that same proverb. I don't know how you say it. It's not perfect. Simply put it like that. While this one, I mean, it's not perfect. How could it be perfect to go against Kiel? Because Kiel are the 2nd most side to support. They just played well. Look at that. 1.7 points better. That's maybe the biggest gap. Here, 1.7. No one. That's unleveled. And so they just played well. My settings had been bad. I accept that. Because I thought they are worse. They lost some players and they can't play on that same standard. They used to. They were in 4th place or 3rd place. No, 3rd place was Union. But the year before they were 3rd. But now they were 4th. And, well... But St. Pauli, at home, they played well, too. That's 5.29, so this is not very far away. They played their standard. I mean, this is close, but it's okay. I mean, nothing serious here. They should have had 3.95 played for 3.91, 4.89, 5.05, that's okay. They played even, it's very slightly better than expected, which doesn't, it's not reflected here, but that maybe one bad game and two better ones, and then it turns into these points positively, and the other values negative. But that's fine. It's still a plus here, because they just won a single point, and Kiel also plus. But how could, I mean, now simply look at the game. We got St. Pauli against Kiel. What would you say? I mean, last season that was also close for a long time. Maybe in the end, Kiel some points ahead, but St. Pauli didn't care anymore. But that's it. That's all. They are on one level, right? What could be the big difference? They are playing at home, and you get 2.0 at a draw, no bet. So that's just silly. And I will just mention these. The overs are fine. Usually, Darmstadt, Dresden, I worked them out. Performance means 18 goals so far. Line is 2.5. 3.0, 19 goals, 2.75. That's nay fallacy, but still, it's just been an over league so far, right? They have just been goals. So if an over is indicated, why would we hesitate? And the first one is gonna start pretty soon, 4 hours from now. Okay, I'm gonna close that. So we check that back on Monday. I was trying to give you an insight, and maybe you can do something with it, and hopefully, of course, get some winning bets. Maybe, yeah. Okay, that would be my wish. Share, like, subscribe, comment, please. Thanks a lot for watching. See you on Tuesday, I guess.